And the
podcast
begins with a song of rebellion.
How can this
podcast.
be my life?
CD Burners.
Welcome to our podcast of misinformation. Appreciate you doing this.
Let's go.
This is a cool thing that we have been we've been doing for a minute now, and I think it's been really fun to bring in other artists that we like to talk about, not their music,
Yes,
but
I love
somebody
that.
else's. I think it's sick.
It excites me.
And if you guys didn't see the title or you're not watching on video, we have Kayzo in the studio with us today. We're going to be talking about Sum 41's All Killer, No Filler.
No filler, baby.
And this was your choice.
This was my choice.
Which, like,
Confidently, it was the only album that came to mind, really, for me
really,
to talk about on a podcast with you guys.
This was
well,
like-
I mean, it was the gut.
like this
gut
was the
choice.
one,
This
the
is the
one
gut.
thing.
Yeah, I've never had a chance to talk about this album outside of just for fun with.
like just
friends?
fucking around.
Yeah,
when did
yeah,
this
yeah.
album come into your life? Like,
I was just trying to figure out I forgot what year this album came out in 2001, and I was 10 years old, and I remember there's a lot of cool things with this album, a lot of reasons why I love this album, nostalgically speaking, but also somehow fast forwarded into my life as a musician as well, and we can talk about that later, like my affiliation with members of the band and stuff like that, new and old. But I bought this album in 2001 when it first came out. It was the first album I ever bought with my own money.
Right.
At 10 years old, my dad dropped me off at Barnes and Noble because they used to sell albums
Dude,
there.
The fingering corner in Barnes and Noble when you were
Excuse
in high
me?
school.
what?
Yeah, that's like the best.
Hold on.
That's like my.
We may have to just talk about that for a few
Look,
minutes.
I have a lot of fucking stories about like this album in particular, but there's like a
The finger.
That is diabolical.
there's like a because there was like there's like the magazine. It smelled a certain way.
Oh, it still has that smell. Me and take Cheney, my fiance, to Barnes and Noble. She's a big book girl, and we go to Barnes and Noble once a week, and it smells no different now than it did in 2000.
She's a big B&N gal.
What is that book?
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
she's a big B&N head.
Yeah, be a nethead.
Dude, no, there was like that's where I mean, like at least like growing up in Tucson, it was like, you can't like you don't have a car.
So you take
have to,
girls to
like-
the fingering corner at
You gotta
Barnes
go.
and
It's
Noble.
like it usually is attached.
Dude.
It usually is attached to a mall. So
This
you're
is
like in
crazy.
there and you're like, it wasn't, there wasn't like social media at the time.
This could have been a Tucson specific
Yeah,
Barnes
this-
and Noble
I
situation.
guarantee that.
Not sure if the Sugarland, Texas Barnes and Noble had this.
Oh, they
corner.
were getting fingered.
Definitely it wasn't happening in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'll tell you that.
I'm just letting
Yeah,
you guys
that
know.
corner, that Barnes and Noble, strictly no fingering.
What's
corner.
the other bookstore? There's like the Barnes and Noble, and then
There
like,
was
there was
another
Borders.
one. It was
Borders,
Borders. Yeah, it was
yes.
Borders. They went out of business, I think.
yeah, Barnes and Noble fucking eats Borders a lot.
It,
bro.
it did. And back then it was I can't remember it was either like going there or going to Best Buy, because near my house there was a Best Buy like pretty close to the Barnes and Noble, and I'd either buy CDs at Barnes and Noble or Best Buy. But in this instance it was Barnes and Noble. And yeah, I walked in there, bought this record with my own money, and it was
Threw
the
down a
first-
solid $10.
it had to have been around $10 back
Yeah.
then, maybe $12. I don't know.
Was
it
it?
was-
Do you remember like why? Like you're like, all right.
I know
this-
why I bought it too.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, growing up, when I was a kid, I had a little TV, a little VCR, CRTV in my room, like I think a lot of kids did, with cable. And I was a big MTV kid. But I was also a kid that had a really hard time. There was a period of my life when I was like, I guess 10, maybe like 7 to 10 years old, where I had a really hard time falling asleep without the TV on. And I'd always fall asleep to MTV, just when music videos, they always played music videos like pretty much round the clock, late night.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of like Korn music videos, Linkin Park music videos, I'll never forget the first time I saw like the Fat Lip or the In Too Deep music video. I think for me, visually what represents, like music video wise, the In Too Deep music video was just, to me as a kid, one of the most cool things you could do, just performing inside of an empty pool with everyone raging around you. And I think that that was ingrained in my mind as like a 10-year-old.
I mean, it's so iconic.
It is iconic. And So I would fall asleep to just music videos, and I remember like they were relentlessly playing Fat Lip and In Too Deep on MTV for the music videos. And that was my first introduction to Sum 41 before I actually went and bought the album. And I was like, I fell in love with this band instantly. I think for them, well, for my opinion, riff wise, melodically speaking, this album and just the band in general, I think you could blindfold me. This band, tone wise, what they chose guitar wise, but the riffs are so iconic. Every song has one of the most catchy riffs possible on each record, on each song on the album. And I think that's what drew me in. It was my first instance of like catchy pop punk, like catchy rock music outside of like heavier stuff that was playing on MTV when I was a kid, which was like Korn, Linkin Park. This was the first thing that I was like singing along with it and how there was like a melody behind it where I was like, I was infatuated with it instantly.
It's so interesting because I was listening to this and I've like watched a couple of like YouTube videos and stuff, and I've heard obviously Fat Lip a million times in my fucking life at this point. But I'd never like pieced it together that he was rapping.
Yeah.
And I think that
oh my God. Yeah. And I still to this day, I think what's so funny about like nostalgic albums or albums that are imprinted in your mind from like an early age until like now I'm in my 30s. It's like I'll listen to Fat Lip and there's still moments in that rap where I know the lyrics, but I'll muscle memory fuck them up. Because as a kid, I'm like, storming through the club like my name was El Nino. I'm like, half of that shit, I didn't even know what he was saying when I was like 10. So I still sometimes when I listen to that song, my 10-year-old brain comes out and I fuck all the lyrics up.
I think that's like pretty much how I feel about every single song that we play at emo. I could not tell
I'm
you,
lyrically challenged.
gun to my head, I could not tell you almost any word in a Fall Out Boy song.
Oh, I'm extremely lyrically challenged. Like I'm more of like the melody kid. Lyrically speaking, I had a hard time growing up, like understanding half the things like people said in either hip hop or rock or metal or pop punk.
I don't.
I think even now it's worse.
I'm like literally like
ear fatigue.
I just talk to people. I'm like, what? If somebody's British, I don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah, there's times I'm listening to my own records with the vocals, and I'm like, I don't even remember what that says.
It's
like on my first albums, I'm like, what is that even? What did we write?
My first, I have a In Too Deep story. I have a couple of stories about this album, and this is one of them. But the music video, the first girl I dated in Los Angeles, she was in that music video.
No way.
She grew up in LA. She was like in LA, born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
And her claim to fame in that video. And
did you ever find her? Did you watch it?
You
can go back and actually see her.
You can see her. And usually I'm a full first and last name person. I would say it, but I feel like she's the type of person that would get very mad at me for saying it.
For exposing her in this video?
Yeah, in general. But I mean, I usually talk about ex-girlfriend Annie Walters all the time.
But she's like she's in our realm of age. So
yeah.
So that means when she was like a kid.
She was
in this video.
Well, I think
which is also going to make it much easier to spot out who she is. I'm sure there wasn't
her
ton
family
of kids in the video.
Her family is like in entertainment, so they would probably like put our daughter
extra
in the video, and so that was like it was like really literally like one of the first things she said to me. And she's like, I was in the.
It's a pretty interesting fact.
And I was like,
I would be asking. There's definitely follow-up questions I'd have.
I was like, let's date. That's what happened.
She got you.
She got me. She
hook,
hooked
line,
me in.
and sinker.
But that 2001 was like this album came out with all of these other albums in the same year. Linkin Park Hybrid. Well, like around
this is why
time.
MTV was just so iconic in this time period.
It was so fucked, dude. It was like
TRL, MTV music videos. It was buffet.
Carson Daly. I like don't know. I bet the audience of this podcast knows who Carson Daly is, but
grew up with him.
There could not be like a bigger, more like he's like the.
Isn't he just like a mainstream guy on like the Daily or on like the Good Morning America or something now?
Is he really?
Yeah, like he's on like the Today Show.
He went fully
he's
mainstream.
Literally on the Today Show.
I had no idea.
I know he's still on TV. That's cool.
I didn't want to look up if he is alive or not.
It's always the worst when you like you Google
very
someone and you're like,
I know, but like I don't know if there was like a portion of like I missed where it was like Carson did, and I was like, I can't put myself through that right now. So I didn't even look it up.
Not sure Complex posted the RIP image of Carson Daly or if they ever would. So I would have never seen it on Instagram.
I just couldn't bring myself to be like, if he
All right, what other albums came out?
Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, Bleed American, and Is This It by the Strokes. It's like those, like that is like.
That being said, though, I feel like Sum 41 was just a little bit late on pop punk at the time because there had already been like that kind of like pop punk explosion in like 99, 2000, Green Day, Blink-182.
A few years after the fact, for sure.
And I guess, you know, they were just these jokers messing around up in
Canada,
Ajax, Ontario.
Also, probably I think maybe the first time I was like, Canada, people can live in Canada. Like I didn't realize.
My first experience with a Canadian is just this band.
I just didn't. I thought it was just like snow.
Well, they
when you're like a little kid and you're like,
they sent around their record to all these labels and nobody was interested. And the reason that they got signed was because they actually like made a Jackass style video of them fucking around in their hometown, like driving around and spraying people with squirt guns and shit and just like being teenage boys. And then they put the music on top of that. And then once the labels saw that, they were like, yeah, let's sign them.
That's perfect.
Did you do that shit like when you were growing up?
This was pre-Jackass too.
Just being a piece of
like
shit.
Like a menace, like setting shit on fire.
Not like setting shit on fire, but we were definitely like, I remember being this time period, maybe a little older, like we were definitely the kids like toilet paper in people's houses. There maybe have been a time we egged a house or two back in the day. But setting shit on fire, not so much.
They weren't really setting shit on fire. They were spraying people with squirt guns.
They were.
Oh, that was much and then, more like, elementary than
doing pranks in like Walmart.
There was a big thing where one of the dudes in the band brought fireworks into a radio station.
What band?
This band,
he brought fireworks.
Who did that? I've never heard that story.
Fireworks into a in the Canadian radio station.
But this was like after they got signed,
right?
They were already like they were pretty harmless teens. But then once they got signed to Island, there's like legend that they were just like, all right, like
now
do whatever you want,
like
get fucking rowdy. That's part of the lore of Sum 41, and we'll just like fix it. Okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no fire, and I'm telling you that they almost got blacklisted from a Canadian airwaves for life.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Right out the gate getting blacklisted from Canadian radio is
doing research on this album reminded me of all of this like the menacing shit that I did.
This is such a like the band, like the entire album to me, just the album cover alone, it's just menace. It's just being a shithead, which I love so much. All
right, keep going because I have a strong thing.
Okay.
To say, but I want to wait until later.
Get it stronger than the Barnes and Noble fingering corner. I don't know if you can top yourself at this point.
Please, brother.
You mentioned something about the album cover.
Yeah,
it features all their faces like blurry. I guess that was just like something that they had up on the wall in their studio. That's what Derek was saying in this like interview. They just had a Polaroid camera and they just kept fucking around and they put it all up on the wall. And somebody walked in and they were like, "That should be the album cover." And they're like, "Yeah,
it is.
You're right.
It's an iconic album cover. It's just and it exudes exactly what this album sounds like to me. I guess because it's kind of relevant to now, like the Canadian. Was it the Canadian? Was this the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Actually, right? Just recently, did they just get inducted into the Canadian Rock Hall of Fame?
I wouldn't
or was it the Rock
me.
Hall of Fame? I know they had just been because they played what I thought was their last show.
Yeah,
but then they ended up playing another show in Toronto.
Knew that was going to happen. They named a street after him, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
they played their last show in Toronto. Was it Toronto on that tour that they just finished up? But then like the next day they played like maybe it was the Canadian Rock Hall of Fame and they got inducted. But like, man. The longevity of this band throughout my entire life.
It's also wild because Canada's
so
the
strong.
Only place where they spell Derek like that.
Yeah.
It's like
that is the most Canadian way.
It's fucking like the wildest thing.
There's no need for a Y in there.
Why?
Why are we doing that?
Why? No, unnecessary.
But it's perfect.
It might have been the start actually of our generation naming fucking kids like Kaylee with like 7 Y's in it. They're like, that guy did it.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
They might have started that shit.
That's crazy.
that I read that because you said that they sent the demo of them with like music behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if again, podcast of misinformation. I read a quote that said that there was like no music behind it. It was
Oh,
just
maybe
them,
they
like,
just sent it with the music.
Oh, it was like a separate. Maybe
It was
the
just
two-disc
They
set.
have not been that savvy with the editing quite yet.
It was
Yeah.
like they were weird, like just fucking around and like lip syncing in our basement, and that was like our demo, and that is how we got signed to. Was it Island?
Mm-hmm.
Island.
Yeah, I think so.
I got fired from a radio station, 92.1,
What'd you do?
because of Sum 41.
Why?
Okay,
What? Okay.
so there's growing up in Tucson at 92.1 KFMA. I loved radio, like how you had to go to sleep with
TRL,
Yeah,
MTV in general.
MTV.
Yeah.
Like I needed to hear
Oh,
something,
right.
and now I've replaced it with like the Adam Friedland show. Like whatever that is, I just
Yeah.
like put that on in the background. And so I worked. My buddy worked at KFMA, like doing like promotions. The vans that they drive around.
Yeah.
So it was like one of my first jobs, and I would go around in the van, set up in like a parking lot and whatever. So they had this festival called KFMA Day. Sum 41 was headlining or like playing. And they were like, Morgan, look, you have to do one thing and just don't drink. Because I was like, absolutely just so
How
fucked.
old were you at this time?
God, I don't know, maybe like 16.
You were in a real
17.
shithead time period.
Really bad. Like really like
Yeah, sure.
like and I was like, absolutely, I can do that.
Shaking your head no. Yeah, for sure.
100%. I got you. I will show up, do whatever I set up, whatever, do all this
Should have
shit.
never even put that in your mind.
They should have never said it to me.
No.
The
You would have never
But
probably.
clearly, it had been an issue in the past where
It's-
they
no,
wouldn't
no,
have said it.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
This
I
wasn't
mean-
your first time.
No. And
Okay.
so like they were like, just don't drink. And I was like, great, I can do that. And so I show up. The first tent I see are like girls that I had like gone, like I knew through people that were running like the vodka tent. And they were like, you want vodka? I was like, yep. And so anyway, I got the first, literally without question, I was like, first thing. And so this is the last thing I remember. Because he's like a small guy.
Yeah, it all goes dark after this.
He's like my size. He's like around my size. He's like a small dude. And I remember them being backstage, me being backstage, and I remember him wearing like taller shoes. And I was like,
Robert De Niro platforms.
I don't know like what I said, but I remember saying something along the lines of something. That's where it goes dark. The next day they call me in
Oh,
to
man,
the
you said some
KFMA
stupid
office
shit.
and they're like, Morgan, you have to come back here. And I was like, I'm fired. And they're like, you are very fired. Because it's one of those things where like,
What did you say?
I
Did
don't
you ask
know.
why?
I
Like,
don't-
what did I say?
I don't know what I said, but I know you like how you remember how you're like, when you're 10, you like repeat the things that you
Yeah,
don't
it's just-
quite
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
I have that. It's like I
Okay.
kind of have like an idea of what it was, but I don't know exactly what it was.
Specifics are
Yeah.
a little washy.
So I just remember walking down the long hallway of going to like the boss's office and being like, man, this is
Was
is
this your
the
first
first
time
time-
getting fired?
I think so, yeah. Just like hungover as fuck.
this is a core memory.
It's a core memory
Yeah.
of my life. And
Except for you don't have the memory of why you got fired.
I feel like there are people there that I still know that I
Gotta
could
ask.
probably ask.
It's kosher now. Just ask.
Have
Be like,
you-
hey,
Dude, have you ever done like something so embarrassing in front of like one of the people that you're like, I look up to you, and then gone back? Oh, yeah. Okay. Anything that you want to
I'm trying to
make
there-
me feel better.
There is
Because I
don't know if I can get on that level. I don't think I've ever gone to that level of crazy.
I had a Mark
with-
Hoppus one too.
You do?
I do.
Oof. Dude, I just feel like anytime I'm around someone that I look up to, and especially music, and like I have this like, I just forget that I'm also a part of this scene. I just go kind of become like a fanboy again, and I totally like all act like you've been here type of notion just goes out my mind completely. And I think I talk too much. I think that's where I go wrong. I just like word vomit a lot.
You're watching me try to not do that to you right now,
Yeah.
asking about music shit. I am actively trying to not.
I need to know when to slow down. And that's what happened. Yeah.
Same thing.
I think that's for sure it.
Speaking of studio discipline,
Okay.
Sum 41 did not really have too much. They were just like partying and like doing pranks, and they were trying to record this up in Canada, and I guess like they were just fucking around and like getting drunk, and obviously like they're just teens who just got handed a bunch of money from a record company, and they ended up being like, all right, you gotta move to LA and like finish the record and like get away from your friends and stop doing this.
That's putting like lighter fluid on the situation.
It seemed like it worked though. I guess what happened, like Jerry Finn, the last like 5 albums we've done have all been Jerry Finn albums, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the most goated.
Yeah, so he was up there in Canada and like working on this album with them. He was producing it, and I guess they took mushrooms one night and they went into Jerry Finn's hotel suite and then somehow ended up like throwing his couch out of the window like 20 feet. They were like, oh, let's bring the couch out on the balcony and like watch the sunrise. And then like the whole couch just like went off the balcony.
That's incredible.
And then
honestly.
Jerry woke up and he was super pissed. And that was like the last straw where they were like, we got to get these kids out of here. Like,
get them
bring them to LA.
We need to put them down in Los Angeles. There's nothing to go wrong there.
So, did he finish? He finished the.
Yeah, he did finish the record.
We went down there with him. He's like, fuck,
Yeah.
just get the hell out.
Yeah.
I need to get away from my couch.
They recorded it in the same studio as where Drake recorded.
They did.
Which studio? I don't know this. Where did they record the record?
They recorded it in Canada. They recorded it at Metalworks Studio in Ontario and Cello Studios in Los Angeles.
I guess Rush recorded there too. Rush, who is bad.
Oh, Cello was formerly Ocean Way. I know Ocean Way
Who's a band.
Studios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never been to those studios specifically.
Yeah, I didn't know.
When
I don't know. I've never.
And speaking of Jerry Finn, guess who the fuck mixed this album? It was Tom Lord Alge.
Yes.
Pretty much like the dream team here.
The
like
GOAT.
Jerry Finn and Tom Lord Alge, that's 2 of the best to ever do it. There's also an additional member of this band, Greg Norrie, who they called the Mentor, who now, I don't know if you've heard any of the controversy around this, but Derek put out his like memoir.
Oh.
And Greg Norrie's like their longtime sort of like manager. He was like basically like the additional member of the band. He was behind the booth like with Jerry Finn pretty much. He contributes some backing vocals, all this stuff. Basically, it came out in Derek's book that Greg Norrie had been like sexually assaulting Derek for years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's, kind of a dark shadow, like looking back on this. Maybe at this time, we don't know when it started really happening, but
That's in the memoir.
yeah. And I guess he like confided in Avril about it, and he didn't like really know like what had happened, and she was like, "Yo, that's sexual assault,"
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
That was the like. Yeah,
That was the bombshell in the book.
bombshell in like the
Because
the
Greg still like manages bands and stuff, so I don't know. He's still active.
Speaking of,
Even after the fact. Wow.
He's denied all of it.
damn, it's a pretty strong fucking thing to say. I wonder what happens when you say that stuff in a book and then it's still out.
It's out there forever in a book.
What happens is Greg Norrie is gonna sue Derek, and Derek's gonna sue him back.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Are they suing each other?
Yeah, Norrie is suing
Defamation
for
of
$6
character.
million in damages.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Avril, speaking of Avril,
Speaking of Avril.
I guess they were when they were recording this album.
Mhm.
Avril was recording her first album in the studio next door,
Mhm.
and she would always come over and steal chips and flirt with Derek, and that's how they met. They didn't start dating then, but that's how they.
I think this is my first instance of remember exposed to like a celebrity, like a power couple in music too, that I actually like looked up to.
100%.
I loved Avril's music too.
Mhm.
I was like, whoa, this is cool. They're like,
Pop punk power.
Yeah, dude, I didn't even.
whoa,
I didn't know
that
put
was
that together.
could
That-
do that like as a kid.
Yeah, I had no
What?
idea. That's actually really interesting. It's probably like.
I can't think of anyone before that.
It's got to be like my.
Two separate megastar groups, or a group, and then a solo artist also dating.
This was like our Brangelina.
Or Brangelina.
This was like our Brangelina. That's crazy. I didn't even fucking put that together.
It was pretty cool at Warped. She brought him out to like come out, and they did In Too Deep together.
So sick.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
The thing that like I really kind of took a look at with this album, which I think makes it why it is the way it is. Again, we're gonna get dark, but it was literally like right before 9/11. So it was like the world was like at kind of like the last version of
So this came out. When did this officially come out?
May 8th,
May 8th.
2001.
Wow.
So
And
you
so-
got 4 months before the world changed forever.
and so it was like
It's
that
the last good thing about the world before it all went to shit.
Dude,
This album.
it literally is like the last it not only like the world, but it also like did something to like, I mean, obviously it was like one of the biggest moments in world history, and it changed like the course of like how I view the world. And so this was like one of the last like albums of like innocence, I guess.
Well, that and just like, just carefree, not thinking 2 steps ahead about consequences or anything really. This album, like everything about it is just, who gives a shit?
It's super youthful.
It's
and,
youthful,
yeah,
100%.
really fun.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's the attitude of the like late 90s, early 2000s, like skate culture.
Mhm.
It's
Just-
very cool.
Yeah. And then, oof.
But I think that that's what makes Sum 41 so special. And I think that's why they got signed in the first place, because, on its surface, I don't know, like listening back to it, this is my personal take on it. Like if you A-B it with Enema of the State or Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, it's like not really all the way there. But I think what really made these guys who they are is their personalities,
100%.
how it shined through in those music videos. Like those are two of the best rock music videos ever made. Like
Yes.
consistently referenced now. Here we are 25 years later. Everybody wants to make In Too Deep or Fat Lip. Like the new Hot Mulligan video that came out last week. Like it looks like the Fat Lip video. Like
Oh, really?
everybody
I haven't seen it
wants to
yet.
do it still.
It was literally the time when like music videos meant something.
Well, they
Like
were
you
they were
said.
bigger than the music itself. Like, I mean, my entire taste in music outside of like rock music and pop punk, because I grew up in Texas, so I was a really big like hip hop kid, like Southern trap hip hop. But my entire, so I was like really like looking for hip hop, but my entire like what I fell into love with was based off of music videos early on. Like not because I wasn't out buying records and there was no streaming services yet. So for me, it was like, when do I hear the music? I either have the CD and I can just listen to it, or how am I digesting music? It was through MTV. It was through TRL. It was through music videos. So the reason why I love bands like Korn or Linkin Park, or Sum 41 are because of their music videos. Well, obviously the music, it was a gateway to their music.
It like
It was
know-
primary music discovery.
Yes.
like that was it. You didn't
Internet
have
it wasn't the internet,
You didn't
it
have
was-
TikTok. There was no algorithm.
Nope.
It was just what they chose to play.
What's really interesting is what I found is that MTV picked up Fat Lip organically through fans, which was like kind of unheard of at the time. Like no PR was like,
I mean, they were on a giant label.
but this is that.
But
not
the reason
how-
why I got picked up on
the reason
TRL,
why it got
like, in
picked up.
the rounds of like,
Mhm.
because TRL used to just play like how many music videos? It was like top 10.
Yeah, it was like a
10
top
a top 10 that they would just rotate.
Yeah,
And then at late night, they would shuffle in some new stuff and some old stuff. But I remember, Fat Lip was in there for like a long time.
and it was because of people requesting it. Like in Canada, where they have fake
Because Total
MTV,
Request Live, that's the name of the show. I just, duh. I
they-
forgot there was actually a voice to that show where people could actually request shit.
instead of just like the PR, like here, push this out. That was, and so that
actually
was really, that's really sick and a testament to like this album that song and this album in general is like in Canada when they have fake MTV, which is Much Music, is like that was like they were on that, and they like it trickled down to America.
I heard that they didn't really hit in Canada, like when they were
I
first.
feel like you never hit in your hometown.
Yeah, they were
I feel
like
like your hometown is always like, or your, I guess if you're talking about a country, but like I've noticed this because I'm from Houston. Like I feel like your hometown like finds that like really catches on like well after the fact.
Does your hometown fuck? Does Houston? Fuck
Yes,
with you?
now, but it took, but also my career in music started in Los Angeles. I never even touched an instrument when I was home.
right, so they don't really.
So there's no
claim you.
lore of like Houston music for me outside of my passion for like anything Houston hip hop related. Mike Jones, Chameleonaire, Slim Thug. I'm like a Houston hip hop, like Paul Wall, all of that. I'm like, that's what I love. Like I didn't even understand. This is so off topic, but I had no idea like what West Coast hip hop was. I didn't have any understanding of Snoop Dogg in any of like I didn't understand any of it growing up. I was just like I was so narrowly focused in on anything from the South that I didn't understand like hip hop was a big deal on the East Coast and the West Coast.
I didn't
Until I got
realize
older.
all of those fucking people were from Houston.
Yeah.
I had no idea
Houston
that.
hip hop is its own subculture that like rivals West Coast and East Coast. And then there's also Atlanta and there's other places, but like Houston specifically has this like chopped and screwed is what like. So another thing was when I got a little older and I didn't have a TV in my room anymore. I was like, I gotta stop doing that as a kid. I used to have like a huge radio system in my room, and I would fall asleep with like, it was called 97.9 The Box. It was like the hip hop station back then. And they would take all of my favorite hip hop and they would chop and screw all the songs. Basically, they would just like pitch down everything like a full like a full octave and like slow it down like 30, 40 BPM or even probably more. And it would just be like everything in like slow motion, but it would sound so sick.
Did your parents love that? Like,
Oh,
what?
I don't know. Honestly, like I kind of like would play it. This is weird. Like, I would play it at a real low volume.
Yeah.
It would just almost be like background music, and I'd fall asleep to
That's
it.
fun.
just
Was that Houston specific? Like the chopped and screwed? Like
I don't want to say yes, but because I don't know. I'm sure everyone's like, no, we did that too. But I think it was like pretty primarily like a Houston thing.
Yeah.
I think that's
And we need to do that more often now. I need
You know
to
where
go
we
to
didn't have
chopped
that?
and screwed radio.
Salt Lake City.
You know,
No fingering quarter.
I used to live
no
there.
chopped and screwed. Did you?
Yeah, for hockey. Yeah, you lived there for 2 years.
Where?
In Salt Lake City.
Like where?
I went to 2 high schools out there. I went to my sophomore year of high school. I went to Brighton.
No shit.
Went to Brighton, and then my junior year, I lived a little bit farther north. I went to Northridge.
Oh, wow. That's
Yes.
crazy.
So I
bro.
know about Salt Lake City
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Like I know that was my first introduction to like life outside of Texas, and I was very shocked because I grew up in when I went to like middle school in
Yeah.
Texas and elementary. I lived in Missouri City, Texas, Sugar Land, and then Missouri City, Texas, and it's a very, very diverse culture of kids and just different people growing
Salt
up.
Lake City
And
is
Salt Lake City was like
not
holy
that.
shit. There's no
Every time I've been there,
Yeah.
I know.
But I do love Salt Lake City. Like great
Nope.
shows there. Great shows there.
no black people, no fingering corner.
Definitely no fingering corner.
Did you have a bunch of great local venues that you used to go to when you were little in Houston?
So my first, when I was little, my first concert ever was the American Idiot tour. Back in whatever year that was. I saw Green Day at the Toyota Center, which was obviously a huge venue. But my first stepping out into music venues outside of like that show was like Warehouse Live Houston was like the first venue. It's also the first venue where I saw dubstep.
Oh, really?
Ever. I saw Rusko back there in 2000. Dude, what year was that now? I mean, fuck, it had to have been 2000, and it was probably like right after I graduated high school. Maybe it was like 2010, 11.
Was that the tour? Was Sum 41 on that? I don't know if I was
On what?
There was definitely like a tour. Maybe it was the tour before. Yeah, it wasn't American Idiot. There was a tour with
No, they
Green
were not
Day.
on that tour. I saw Franz Ferdinand open for American Idiot.
Okay. There was a tour with Green Day and Blink 182, and I think Sum 41. And this was like when Blink and Green Day were like there was a rivalry developing
Yeah.
between them, and they were supposed to be like co-headlining.
Oh, so egos got. It was just like who's.
But
the
there
big
was
Whose
man.
name is bigger on the fucking?
There was, I guess,
Some
Green
things
Day
never
put,
change.
never.
Green Day put something in their contract that said like, okay, like we'll play before Blink, but we won't play until the sun goes down. And so there were sometimes like during the summer though where they'd have to wait so long, and they were playing at these outdoor venues where they had crazy curfews.
Yeah.
And so Blink's set would end up getting like super short.
Oh no.
God damn it, dude! The amount of times that we have dealt with that shit,
Yeah.
like whose name is.
Oh yeah.
bigger.
Yeah, that's I think that's a
classic.
thing of the industry that most people. Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people understand that are just fans of rock or electronic or whatever type of music is. That is an entirely other hellscape of the industry of a bidding war of
I think
whose name's bigger on a
alphabetical
flyer.
has just got to be the way to go.
It is the most
It
clean.
has-
We're just
Yeah.
going alpha.
has to be the way to go. Did you when you went to that first dubstep show? Was it something that you were actively going to, or did you just like walk into it?
Yeah, no, so I was already an active fan. So I got into dance music. Again, we're going so off topic, but it takes me back to my Salt Lake City days. My sophomore year, when I lived out in Salt Lake City, I played for a team where we played at the Olympic Oval. I'm sure you know what that is, where
Mhm.
they did all the Olympic shit. My coach was from Sweden, and all the kids were primarily picked from different parts of the US, but also from like Finland, Sweden, and Norway. And we practiced out of the Oval. Back then, there was no Bluetooth. So we were like aux cording it up in the locker room. We used to have like a big system, whatever. And all the kids from the US would play hip hop or, metal, rock, any sort of pop punk, anything just outside of dance music. And there was this section of kids on our team that were all from Europe that had never spent a day in the US. Then they'd get the aux cord and they would put on like Euro dance and like hard dance and stuff like that. And that was not dubstep, because that wasn't a thing in Europe yet. Like that, to this level. So that was my first instance of electronic music. I'm like, this is pretty cool. And I was a goalie, so I'd get pumped up on my own before games, and I'd just put headphones on and I listened to the stuff they'd show me, and then I was like, there's got to be more to this. And so then that's where I found out. I dived into dubstep from there. I found bass music. I found like Dr. P, Flux. I found all the UKF stuff back then, and that was like the gateway into like dubstep. And then from there, I was a huge Rusko fan. And then I'd go back home for the summers before I'd go back and play hockey, and I saw Rusko was playing at Warehouse Live, and it was like that's the first real dubstep show I went to, and it like kind of life altering, like seeing that music in a live format and seeing what that did to people. It was just like it was a drug. It was crazy to feel that type of adrenaline. And then I went to my first music festival, which was Lollapalooza in 2011. And that's when Perry's stage was just a fucking tent.
Tiny, small fucking
tent.
thing, yeah.
And I went with a bunch of hockey buddies, and I was a huge Skrillex fan at that time. He was playing middle of the day, first day. It was like Skrillex, and then it went to like Afrojack, and then it went to Girl Talk. I don't know if you guys know. Remember,
yeah.
Dude,
Love
that was
Girl
like
Talk.
that. They
Mashup
basically do what we do.
mashup culture, he's like one of the goats, if not the
Mhm.
goat of mashup music. And I remember just being drunk out of my mind, lost all my friends the second I got into the festival, went to the rail and camped out at Perry's the entire day, saw Skrillex, Afrojack, Girl Talk. And that was where things kind of clicked,
Mm.
where I was like, okay, I'm a fan of this, but I want to make people feel this way. Like I want to do this. And then that's
Dude, it's really interesting that you say that,
Curiosity
because that was
changed.
my experience with you at EDC.
no way.
I had never seen anybody use. Obviously we had been doing this for a minute,
Yeah.
but we were just kind of like pressing play,
Right.
and it was the first time I've watching you at EDC, like watching what you were actually doing, was the first time that I saw somebody, and I've said this in interviews before. Like I shout you out all the time whenever we get talked about this. I was like, the first time that I've ever seen anybody use CDJs as an instrument, and I was to this day, I'm like blown away at it altered like how that did for
Yeah.
you. It altered the way that like I thought about dance music.
Yeah, just opened up an entirely new viewpoint of it for you guys. How you guys
I had just
crushing it.
never seen anybody do it live, and so it was like that's that was like my moment where I was like, I didn't realize you, and I was like, I want to.
Yeah, and then we did, what were the first shows we did together? Was
Yeah.
it the one in San Francisco?
Yeah, but we were still like just.
Right. But was that the first time that you had been on a dance show? Was it San Francisco? There was another one too.
I mean, you brought us to our first EDC, and that also changed.
Well, yeah, that was
everything, too.
the first music festival for
Yeah.
electronic music that you guys played at. Right?
Yeah.
And that, I remember that was the art car we did, and that
Mhm.
was still till this day one of my favorite like art car pop up kind of experiences was that one.
It was so fun, bro.
Oh,
it was like right after COVID too, so everybody was just like in the best mood. It was like
Yeah, it
October
was-
EDC.
My last event before COVID, well, I played EDC Mexico, but then was my first emo night with you guys.
It was like March 7th or
It
something.
was like a week before it was all
Yeah.
fucked. It was like the one where like Youngblood came
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
MGK came
Yeah.
out, and
it was a super spreader for sure.
yeah, we had no idea. We were all
Yeah.
just hacking and coughing on each other.
We
like
made
all
a.
had fun.
I think it was that's the Word Alive one where there was like
Yeah.
actually we like.
It was
made
the
some-
anniversary. Was it one of your anniversary shows?
I
too?
don't think so, but
No?
we did make an activation for this band, The Word Alive, and it was literally like a plexiglass box that you had to step inside.
It was
to
like a
take
photo
picture.
booth. It was
Just like
so
a
funny.
COVID box.
Before you knew it, you already had your own your social distancing.
That's true.
Dude, it was
box.
also just like that's where it started in LA at emo night. Like, we
at the
did
Echo Place.
it.
Yeah, it was there.
Is
It was
the
for
thing.
sure there.
But dude, that is like I think we owe you a lot of like a lot because you introduced us and to all of this and brought us on and kind of exposed us to this music. We like really do owe you a lot.
Oh,
of
you guys
thanks.
deserved it. I mean,
So-
you guys. I mean, like I've said it all the time. Like we were talking about it before we got in here. Like because you guys just got done doing Warped Tour. Like the crossover, or the pop punk, rock, metalcore pipeline to EDM and back is so like synonymous with each other that like I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. That you guys were a part of the electronic world because. I mean, you hear it now that you guys are at all of these events. How many times do you hear a rock at it?
I mean, dude,
And someone else has said that's not
Yeah.
yours. You're like,
I literally there's like
like a My Chemical Romance at it, or a
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy at it, or just something like, and everyone's like losing their shit. Those, you know what I'm saying?
you know
like,
who's the biggest one I hear all the time?
what's the biggest at? Yeah, what is like the most? Okay, I have a question. For
Okay.
you. What is your favorite when you're doing like a grave rave or you're doing like a electronic festival? What is your favorite combination? Like favorite song from rock, pop punk, etc., mixed with dance music? Like, what's your favorite edit,
That
mashup, whatever you guys do? Like, what are your favorite go-tos?
So that's a tough one, dude. That's a really tough one because it's changing all the time. Because I'm at this learning curve right now where I'm discovering a lot
Yeah,
and like learning like Ableton.
yeah.
And so, I mean, I've been making a couple that I'm like, I really like these. Like these are good. But I did hear Company play one at EDC this year, which was a Day to Remember mix. And I was like,
Data Remember always goes hard.
yeah. And
And
that's
a
the-
dubstep set
But you
specifically.
said the easiest one to mix with like everything is Boys Like Girls.
Boys Like
Great
Girls
Escape.
is the
Dude,
it's
it is
the
a
easiest.
banger.
It's the easiest you can. It sucks because it's so good.
It's
The
so good.
acapella is great. It's in the key that like a lot of,
Yeah.
and it's at the tempo.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I actually do hear that song a lot
It's
in
the,
edits.
it's the best. It's the best acapella.
Yeah.
To like
I used to
use in all
do,
of these.
in segueing into like some of, so we can get back to Sum 41 even too. Like this is how you kind of segues in. I used to, like some of my favorite mashups that I used to make were with, and I didn't, and the thing is like, they were just like, there's always the saying like 2 for them, 1 for you when you're DJing. Like, it's a push and a pull between like fan servicing and like what you love.
Mhm.
I was the worst at fan servicing back in the day. I was like, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna play whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing this because
Right.
if I love it, then I'll attract people that love it, and that's all that I really care about. But so I would make like fat lip edits and 2 deep edits like religiously, and I would notice like they would go off, but it was so much different than like when you would play like a Fall Out Boy edit or something like, or a Great Escape edit or something like that. But like fat lip edit actually around 2017, I started to notice when my edits got better. But like this was the time period when I started to like, I think it was 2016 or 2017 actually, where I started to like really mix in electronic music with rock music. Like this was my my time of like experimenting with the two worlds together. And it started, I think my fans, it started to click when people came to shows, like why I was playing it, like Fat Lip at my shows. And then I got like super lucky at this time period meeting Frank Zumo, you know, what was it, the current drummer of Sum
Yeah.
41. And I got really close with him. And then I ended up bringing him. Well, actually, before I brought him on tour with me, I got close with him because Frank's like really big in electronic music. He's got his own side project called Gravos that he's doing. And he's a big fan and supporter of of the electronic world. And when I did my first Palladium show back in 2017, it was like my first big LA show, right? Like I did a couple like a couple small, like Avalon and different things before that, but this was like my first stepping out like to Los Angeles. And it took a lot of finagling, but because I knew Frank, we got Frank and Derek to come out during the show and play my Fat Lip edit.
Wow.
Damn, really?
Yeah. So Derek came out and it was like he was like super like weary at first of it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't really understand like what, but Frank like really was like the co-sign, like, dude, you don't understand. Like, this is cool. Like this is going to work. Like, it makes sense. Just see it to believe. It's kind of, that's the thing is like a lot, like what I've noticed with like when I've worked with bands in the past, some of them like already like understand the electronic world. They understand like the cohesiveness between the two, but then there's a lot of like, see it to believe it people. You're like, you just got to kind of see why this works.
Yep.
Right. Whether it's like bringing live instruments into the mix or just playing like rock or metal infused dubstep or just dance music in general. You just have to kind of see how it makes sense live. And so, yeah, he came out and did it. And that was like, for me, that was like like when I first played Lollapalooza, that was like a very coming full circle moment. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is my first festival. This is like where it all started for me. But then that even more was like my first band that I fell in love with is out here on stage with me. And
Your first CD that
my
you
first
bought.
CD ever. I got to meet him, and I was like, I can't believe I'm actually meeting you. Like,
so sick.
you were like a ghost, like a non, like not a real person to me for the longest. But you were just like an icon, like a true rock star. Like when I think of rock stars, that Sum 41 are rock stars to me. Like, and they are rock stars.
100%. Yeah.
And but to me, it was just like, we were talking about earlier, like embarrassing moments. It was just me. Like I have never felt more intimidated in front of someone in the music industry than it was when I met Derek for the first time at that. Cause it was like meeting him during sound check. And I was like so nervous to like make the wrong move or say the wrong fucking thing. I'm like, he may just not even fucking show up later.
He
like,
feels like somebody that you might just like scare off.
Yeah. I felt like I was going to scare him off
Yeah.
with this edit. Cause I had back then it was like a Fat Lip edit that I made with one of my very first big, like viral, I guess, big songs. It was called Wake Up. And it was like my first big dubstep song that did really well on Spotify. And it was like, I had this edit where I did Fat Lip into Wake Up and it just crushed live.
Sick.
And I was like, he's going to fucking hate this shit. Like, this is going to be so bad. Like, and he's like, not going to know when he wants to, like, what he does on the dubstep, because it's always like, what do I do when this plays?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but he was so good about it. And so when it came to actually doing it live, like Frank was just all in, no matter, like head first, loves it. And then, but getting Derek on stage, once he finally saw like the see it to believe it thing, like the crowd was there. It was fucking the coolest thing ever. And it was definitely like probably like one of my favorite moments that I've had in my career. Cause I owe a lot of like my musical, like what I like, this band crafted a lot of what came after what I listened to, like, and what else I dove into, like on the harder side of rock music, like getting into like Under Oath and getting into like Old Bring Me. And like it would have never started if I didn't fall in love with Sum 41.
And in a way too, though, they were like, we kind of touched on it earlier, but they were like fusing in rap to pop punk, which wasn't really being done. Like you had rap and rock being done by Limp Bizkit and like Korn and Offspring and stuff like that.
Right.
But like, it wasn't as like melodic Beastie Boys pop punk rap. And then they also brought in like metal too. Like, these guys were big metal guys. They loved like Iron Maiden. They had their like metal characters that they had for like couple songs.
There's some influence on the like Pain for Pleasure.
Yes.
One of those songs on the album that feel like very like metal-ish to me. And you've got like songs like what's funny is like, because when I wanted to do like a full listen through of this album, because I hadn't done a full like front to back listen to of this album in a long time. They're like one of the first bands that did like interludes that I remember doing, like interlude songs that were not like, well, interludes now are like weird. Like when you hear like when you listen to like an album with interludes, especially in like dance music, the interlude like fully connects to the next song.
Right.
It's key specific. It's like basically like an intro to the next song and an outro from the previous song. But they had like an interlude on this album that was just like 30 seconds of like what feels like just like a demo that they just never finished. That there's like, fuck it, this is sick. Let's throw it on the album. I think it's like the second or third song.
When they also do the intro,
Well, the intro is a true intro, which is like so cool because it's like a full like what reminds me of like intros to like EDM shows.
Yeah.
now. Like where it's like this really dark, anthemic, like non-musical moment, like big spectacle to a set, which is what a lot of DJs do these days. This is like what their intro of their album was. And I thought it was just the coolest fucking shit in the world. And then they had a couple I think I don't remember what the name of the song was now that I'm like talking about it, of course, but it was like 30 seconds. And then it didn't even connect to the next. I was just like,
Never Wake Up.
yes. And it was
49 seconds.
and it was just like, it feels like just like a beat, like a demo, like a B-side demo
Yep.
that they were like, well, we didn't really finish this. Or maybe it was supposed to be a finished A-side thing. Like, and they were like, well, fuck it, let's just throw it on there.
The album is called All Killer No Filler. We only need 30 seconds of this.
That's true.
You know, maybe there was a minute that sucked.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, no, we're gonna trim the fat from this. But my favorite song on this album is actually sandwiched in between their two biggest songs. My favorite song is Motivation. Motivation, specifically the riff that song has is like and I'll never forget like just me being a 10-year-old kid singing that song. The high notes that Derek hits in Motivation are like my nostalgic childhood. Like Motivation is one of my favorite songs ever. And it's just everything about this album is the most fucking catchy thing ever, too. Every song is catchy. Where like I feel like nowadays there's like I mean it's kind of crazy. Like you said, the album's called All Killer No Filler. There's no filler on this entire album to me at all.
Dude, the thing that like Jerry Finn did, which I was reading, was like they had all these songs that they wanted to be like a little darker or whatever the fuck. And he was like, dude, this chorus is too good. Make this a pop song. Like make this more poppy.
Yeah.
And like he was the one that like really made it so the thing that you like just said, that there's zero filler in it. It's all good 100% of the time. He kind of fucking paved that way for it. And like, dude, I can't imagine like what this album would sound like without Jerry
influence.
Finn.
Yeah, that's so true. But I mean, it's really rare that you find an album from top to finish where like, at least for me, where every riff, every melody is true to that song. It sounds like it only fits in that song and it's so fucking catchy. So I don't know.
I heard that the song In Too Deep was almost a reggae song.
Really?
Yeah. And that was our boy.
Am I about to make a reggae remix of
Yeah.
In Too Deep when I
Maybe,
get home?
Dude, they speaking of like all of what style of genre they are, they fucking also Limp Bizkit is just better than the Beatles.
Okay.
Like,
Whoa, we just took a hard.
Like I feel like I have to like
I'd love to know how that
He just
thought
likes to
entered your
rage
brain.
bait so that we can clip it.
like
True podcast
Yeah.
over here.
yeah, well they are. I actually like think I think significant others.
I also have I don't know. Here's the thing is growing up, my dad wasn't a Beatles guy. So for me, I
you
give
have
two
no,
shits
like-
about the Beatles. And I respect
No,
the band
dive
for what
into
they
it,
are,
dude. Lean in.
But I couldn't tell you a Beatles song that I gave two shits about.
That's the thing.
I grew up listening to Van Halen and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, you go one way or the other.
More Led Zeppelin. My dad was like a big Led Zeppelin guy.
Yeah.
I grew up listening, he'd drive me to school in the morning. It was Stairway to Heaven. It was that. It was
Mhm.
never like the Beatles.
I am, and I'm like, the thing is, I am dead serious about it. Like
You can be. I actually, another crazy moment. LA. One of my first sightings when I first moved to LA. When I got my second apartment, I lived in North Hollywood, down in that like North Hollywood Arts District area. Just back when I would just like coffee shop hop to work on music. I had like a 3-bedroom apartment with fucking roommates that were loud and messy. And I was like, I need to go work on music somewhere I can be motivated to work on music around other people on their laptops. Back then, it was just going to coffee shops for me. And I would frequent this one coffee shop, and I was working one day on a song, drinking my coffee, and Fred Durst walked in, and I was like, "You're real too?" Again, and he also had the red.
He had the hat on?
I had the hat on, dude.
Oh,
And it felt like
wow.
I'd been transported into. I was like, "This is not real world, right? Like, you actually wear that. Like, that's not like a real thing, right? Like, it was.
That's awesome.
That wasn't just like him on stage. That red cap was everywhere.
That is like,
I was too scared to say hi. I pussied out so hard. I was like,
He seems like he would be intimidated.
oh yeah, it was because he's got that intimidating kind of
Have
look.
you ever met Wes?
No,
He's-
Wes Borland?
he
No.
is so fucking sick.
I have not.
He
really nice.
is so
That's
sick.
a connection that we should make.
Yeah, you should really tap in with Wes. He is amazing.
I met a couple. I mean, when I did Coachella for the first time, this is all thanks to Frank Zumo too. Because going back to the Frank Zumo thing for a minute, like after this whole thing we did at the Palladium, when I started doing my Unleashed shows with like the live band, I kind of started creating the concept with Frank initially when he was doing his street drum corps stuff, and we went on like a little run of shows. I think that was the show that we did together at San Francisco. Did that have Frank on it? I'm trying to think now.
I don't think Frank was on it.
So that was not an Unleashed show. Okay, got it. But we used to do the Unleashed shows, and Frank was my first drummer on these Unleashed shows. And Coachella 2019, when I got booked to play Coachella, we did the Unleashed show there, and we brought out a bunch of cool people. We brought out Youngblood. We brought out Grandson back then. We brought Alex from All Time Low out because I had a song with him called Up in Flames. And then randomly out of fucking nowhere, he's like, yeah, Tommy Lee is gonna come up and drum with
Sick.
me too. So I met Tommy Lee, and he came up and fucking but there was no plan.
No plan, no rehearsal.
No
just
rehearsal.
happened.
Everything else was planned. Like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I had a remix for Youngblood. You're gonna come up. We're gonna do the remix. I had a song with Alex, Grandson. I had just met him, and we had worked in the studio one time. And I was like, "Do you want to like? I'll do like a Blood in the Water edit if you want to come out and perform it because I really like your music." And like, he's like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." But everything else was planned. Tommy Lee was not planned whatsoever. Up until the moment of him like getting him to the Sahara tent was like the most chaotic thing ever. Trying to getting him to us was just absolutely insane. Getting him there, meeting him, taking photos. I was like, this is fucking crazy. But then he's like, there was no plan of like, do you want to come up and like, Frank's like, yeah, just come up and drum with me. And I turn around and I'm like, Frank's on my right. And during the most non-rock moment ever, during like literally like a 4 on the floor psytrance hard dance song, he comes up and just fucking takes the drums over and just starts fucking banging on them, like just trying to feel out what this fucking song is. So seeing Tommy Lee try to drum to like hard dance was like a core memory for sure. He crushed it. I mean, because he's a goat, he crushed it, but I wish I would have planned something.
Right.
Them,
I don't look. Yeah,
but again, I guess
true,
not
but, like,
planning anything with Tommy Lee is the most Tommy Lee thing ever.
it's
you could
also
do.
just like that is all like, you know, you don't get those every, like you can plan all this shit, but like having something like that.
Yeah, it was very unplanned moment.
Yeah.
Thanks to Frank.
And it's
shout
fucking-
out Frank for that.
Shout out Frank Zumo. And also shout out Grandson too.
Grandson, yeah, it was a cool time period because it was this time obviously before COVID. It was a time before all of them like really took off,
Yeah.
and blew up. So it was like very everyone was very buzzy, but no one was like in this like rock star status. So it was really cool to like just bring everyone together on stage for a fucking
Mishmash of like
an EDM set,
Yeah.
a dubstep set. Like, cool, we're all down to do this shit. And
Sick.
It's cool because they were all. That's why I was like, I think that's so cool about this world is everyone is just so down to experiment and try new things. And
that's what I mean. Look, that's what we found. Like that's what we have found, and I think that's like, I don't know, a lot of the reason why at least I'm like very, I don't know, the communities between the two genres of music, while they look different and listen to different stuff, the mentality feels very similar.
Well, speaking of new things, let's wrap this up.
Dude, I
talking about
I directed
some,
the Bloodwater video.
if you like
You did?
this, you might like that.
Sick.
What are some new bands that you guys might like if you like Sum 41? Could be bands, could be anything.
shit.
Let
We
me,
try to go not Spotify recommendations. Like if you click on Sum 41, you don't.
Oh, like sounds like type thing.
Yeah.
let me hold on.
Oh, that's tough.
It is tough because like who sounds
It could be attitude. It doesn't even.
Oh yeah,
okay.
you're right. It could be attitude. Attitude could be a little all-encompassing kind of thing
Mhm.
versus just the sonic sound itself.
I have one, which is like a wild suggestion, but like I heard him this week, like I heard all of his new shit this weekend, and I was like, this is fantastic pop punk, which Girlfriends, T Mills. Like
Ooh,
the
interesting.
songs are
They're on Warped Tour?
yeah, like solid pop punk. Sounds great, feels like pop punk songs and done in this way, and like seems like a suggestion that like I would try and go, what's an obscure fucking thing I can find? Pull out
Oh,
my
this is
ass
going to
for
be
this.
tough for me. This is going to be absolutely a tough one. That's not recommended on Spotify.
Dude, I was gonna ask you, like, what is like, in the dance world, like, what is like, in your opinion, like the equivalent of like a Sum 41? Like,
In terms of sound or attitude, because
Like-
sound is pretty hard to come by. I would say like there's I guess like I don't know, me.
I kind of I agree with.
know,
I do agree.
No,
with
there's
you.
like a few of us that obviously do like the crossover, like that rock and metal music, to the pop punk. I mean, there's a couple artists that are like lean more towards like more of a pop punk or melodic sound. Like there's guys like Said the Sky that have worked with like more leaning towards that melodic pop punk sound. But like attitude wise,
I think
and
it
that's
is,
the thing
I think
with
it is you.
the scene is just like, dude, music just
I feel like you can't get away with the
can't
shit
do the
Sum
shit that they
41.
did anymore. Like, they
Yeah.
that's the thing
You
is
get
like
canceled.
their period of time was no social media, no fucks given. Let's have fun. Like what I will say about, because I was thinking about it earlier when we were talking about like the rollout of their first album, there are some pieces to that feel like have come full circle, like the not trying so hard and the over calculated, the over thought out process of whether it's rolling out an album or a single or just posting on social media in general. I feel like a lot of that like free spirited kind of mentality has come back away, which is cool. Like things are a little less like buttoned up. But again,
Well,
half that shit is not possible.
I feel like you have to. I feel like you have to be posting on TikTok and have it be not polished in order for
That's what
people to
TJ was
connect with you.
saying.
Now.
Yeah, the least. I mean, that's the Gen Z thing. I think.
Like nobody wants to see your like beautifully edited promo
luckily
video.
my fiance has a sister. Her younger sister's like a junior or sophomore now in college, and so she's just prime Gen Z. So I can just get an insight of like what
what are these guys?
fuck do you guys like when it comes to like the internet?
Yeah.
And it is literally like not. It's like anything that looks like they're being sold something
Yeah.
or promoted something. It's fuck off.
I mean, it's the same thing with these guys. Like,
And that's what I
that-
think was so cool
yeah.
about when you were talking about them pitching their album. It was they weren't really promoting you. They were promoting this is just who I don't know, this is who the fuck we are. There was nothing polished about it, which I think makes and from the album cover too,
Mhm.
it's like the entire aesthetic around the album outside of the obviously very polished, perfectly executed music is
I mean, the music videos are, very high budget.
exactly. So like, but
They have the attitude.
the attitude around it is just like just you and your boys having a good fucking time, kick back
Yeah.
in the backyard.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Young kids just
And I
fucking
think
around.
that is like if Sum 41 was around today, I feel like it would work really well. Like,
yeah.
if Sum 41 was doing the All American Rejects thing right now
We
with
just-
like the I
house
don't know if you guys
party.
that house
Yeah.
party idea is fucking cool.
That's what I was like. This is so. TJ brought up. He was like, they're in the position where they can like do that, and which
It takes a very fortunate band to be able to do that, to like have the crew and rent the gear and travel.
It's got to be a legacy like grandfathered in band that's has all of those polished. Those wheels are they can just kind of flip the switch and do something.
yeah, and they can lose that money every day.
But it is awesome.
It's also
so
just
fucking sick.
completely revived their not like they've not revived their career, but it's revived their it's introduced them to an entire new generation of fans in the coolest way possible. But I feel like
Absolutely.
that's what like if Sum 41 didn't retire, like they could have done that. I don't know. Their
Yeah.
music to me feels very much like on the front porch of like a, you know, if you're on a college campus or in the backyard and like in a pool or just in a kickback, just like we could do that exact same thing right now. And I don't think there's like that many bands that could just like authentically just pull up and do that. And I feel like Sum 41 can just fucking rip it.
Totally.
I mean, who knows, dude? All these fucking
Come back
bands,
and do that.
all these
Eric,
bands are like
Frank.
this
Give
is
us
our
that.
last show ever, and then
Is it?
no, it's not.
no band
You
ever
guys-
truly breaks out.
No, you
No,
guys.
but I would love to see if I could, you know, and this is gonna sound like wild, but you know, I never had a chance to see them live up until 3 years ago,
damn, really?
4 years ago live. I never had the chance. I never was in the same. No, wait. I did see them once. I forgot. It was the tour. No, this was actually probably the first time I saw them. I saw them in, we were in Germany. They were on a European tour. I was on a European tour. And it was, my first introduction to them was a European crowd. And God, does Europe love Sum 41. Holy
Hell yeah.
shit. Seeing them in Europe was an incredible experience. Yeah. They were on it was a tour they did with Simple Plan. Simple Plan was on that tour.
Oh, sick. Yeah, that was recent.
Yeah, it was like what, a couple years ago, 3 years
Yeah.
ago, maybe. First time I got, and I was a big Simple Plan,
Simple Plan-
fan as well.
Those guys kick so much ass. We just saw them at Warped, and
Still so good live.
they're putting out a documentary, which I'm in.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm probably saying
You
something.
probably got drunk off of vodka lemonade.
No, this
said
was
some
when
stupid
this was
shit and got
this was
fired from that too.
at
Fired from
Insomniac
something.
office. I was not. It was a while since I had done that. But I don't know what I said. Probably some fucked up shit. No, I think it was like a nice thing. But dude, Simple Plan is like another one of those bands where, like, I can't. You know, it goes back between like, is this pop? Like, are these pop songs? Like,
Yeah.
like are they? And I think that those two in particular did a huge service for like the bands that we see today, like shaping their sound.
And that pop, more melodic sound.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I know we're gonna wrap it up, but another band that like had me in my feels back then for anything melodic, and I was a huge Cartel fan.
Oh, the best.
Huge Cartel
Yeah,
fan.
those guys rock.
like rip.
So that might be one of my favorite edits.
Dude, you play a Cartel edit?
I will show it to you.
Dude,
It-
I don't know if I've ever done a Cartel edit because I always feel like, am I the only one in the room that likes
doesn't
Cartel?
Go that well.
See, that's the two
Yeah.
for them, one for you. That's the one
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
And fuck it. You play one for you. I play, dude. You know how many times I play shit in my set where I'm like, this is for me and only.
Yeah.
Like this one is.
It's good.
This
but,
is
like,
gonna hit
I'm
with
always like,
1.1% of the crowd. Everyone's gonna be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's a fucking. It's a heavy one.
Oh, I love you go into a heavy
Dude,
with
I'm like-
Cartel.
I'm dubstep guy now.
yeah, you
Yeah, I
should
know,
show
but
them that.
the juxtaposition between a Cartel song
I'll
and
show it to you.
dubstep is
I'll
wild.
show it to you after this.
All right, guys.
Also, but anyway, if for anybody who like fucking, you know, I know a lot of people who like pop punk and emo are watching this. I don't know if you guys like, check out Kayzo. Like really genuinely
I like to
awesome.
dabble in
Was-
both worlds.
was my gateway into this, and you guys will probably understand why after listening to him.
Yeah, maybe. Yes,
I think so.
for sure.
I think so.
Shout out Barnes and Noble one time. I learned a lot about that store today.
Shout out the fingering corner.
Don't. I feel like there's a whole Reddit for that.
Well, there's
Oh,
also
God.
the what's the downtown movie theater where they give you a blanket, the fingering blanket.
What?
They give you a blanket where you lay down, and it's like probably specifically for fingering.
Oh, you're talking about iPic, like the movie theaters that like
what is
like,
it called?
You like
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
like, yeah.
like the
iPic.
bougie movie theaters
Yeah,
where
they serve
you
you dinner, and then they're like,
dude, those are like more recent.
yeah, I know.
They shouldn't be called fingering blankets
I
at this
mean,
part of.
I don't think that they're not like, would you
This is
like
crazy.
they're not like, would you like your fingering blanket, sir?
And then you refer to the Avalon as the fingering balcony. A lot of fingering
What is
over
going
here. He's
on with
the
it?
king of fingering.
Like I just had a really great like ages 14 to like 17.
Okay. Whoa. Hey.
I was 14 and 17.
Okay. Okay. You're saying you had
Careful.
that
I
time
had a
period for
great,
you was
I
a-
had a great like
14 to
my
17
age,
was a-
yeah.
You
yeah,
got to
yeah.
be careful.
context is everything
Yeah.
with this conversation.
Clip it.
All right. We got to wrap this.
All right.
We're
Let's
done.
go.
That's
Let's do
it. Leave it
that
there.
was fun. Love you guys.
Love you, dude.
Great.